What does this movie and Prometheus have in common? They both deal with genetic evolution, they both deal with the theory of God, and they're both boring as welcome back to Comic Universe, the only nerd-centric thing you need in your life. I'm here once again with C-Dubs, and welcome back to Netflix and Beyond!
As you guys know, this is where we kind of scroll through things that are either on Netflix or somewhere searching around on the internet, you know, whether it be Hulu, whatever, anywhere.
Well, then it'd be Hulu and,
well, no, the Beyond is, that's kind of the, wherever we find it across the internet, and we watch it, and we go, and let you know what we think.
Yeah.
And today we have The Titan,
which is a new Netflix premiered movie.
Original, yeah.
Yeah, original movie. There's the word. It got away from me. It came out about like the end of March.
Right.
We've been meaning to talk about it, and we've just finished watching it as of this recording. Like I'd say a couple hours ago, but it was still fresh in our minds.
Right.
So we were like, yeah, let's do this movie, and.
It's definitely a movie.
In theory, it should be good because
in theory it should be great.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely if you're a comic book fan, if you're a nerd geek culture fan, science fiction is right there with anything. You know, gaming, comic book, science fiction. Those are like the three top, if you will, the trinity of being a nerd or a geek. And all the concepts to this film are great. Every concept of
a keyword of what we're saying is in concept.
So the basic premise is the world is dying,
as is with a lot of sci-fi movies as of these days. But
of course, well, I mean, since the beginning of sci-fi,
yeah, but now they've been really hitting it, and I'm like, I get it. The Earth is screwed. Don't remind me.
Right. So, and our only hope is there's not enough time for us to get to Mars and create a colony there. We need to go to the only atmospheric place that we found so far in the universe, no pun intended.
Well, our galaxy.
Our galaxy. Again, that would still consist of the universe. But regardless, the closest place to us would be Titan, the moon of Saturn. And it's too harsh for us to just go and live.
Even though there's like, we can, you know, in theory, we can actually like farm there, we could grow crops, we could build a society, but the environment itself is just too...
Right, the air is not good for us, the water is not good for us, basically too much methane there.
So rather than terraform the planet, this scientist, who's played by Tom Wilkinson...
Yes.
Gets this idea of, rather than terraform the planet, we transform ourselves. We force our own evolution to be on that planet.
Correct. So he's going to evolve us to basically withstand the harsh atmosphere.
Yeah. And in theory, that's an interesting idea.
Right.
And again, it's kind of weird that we didn't just, why didn't we do this with Mars? Because it's quicker. But on the other hand, you know, Mars doesn't have a viable...
atmosphere is what so...
Yeah, and it would be, so it's might as well, we can breathe on that planet, kind of. We can't breathe on the one that's closer to us, and we don't have the time to, you know, set that up, so.
So, it stars Sam Worthington from from Avatar fame, which, as you've been putting it, you remember when he was a thing?
Yeah. You know? We all tried to make that a thing. And then this movie reminds me of why he shouldn't be a thing.
Right? I mean, I think he did a decent enough job in the beginning half of the film. The beginning half of the film is really good as you start to see him taking on the tests and getting his genes altered and going, you know. It was a little fast for my taste, the montage, if you will.
Yeah.
It kind of was a little too quick.
Because we were like, wait, how does this correlate to, you know, and also, there are some, I know sci-fi is known for BS, but I remember, like, behind the scenes with the saying, oh, we're really going to look into, you know, genetics and all that. I was like, you really didn't. And, you know, someone who really loves, you know, the cosmos and, you know, the studies of evolution, like, I'm like The Weeknd, buddy. I'm a mother effing star boy. So, I'm kind of like, this is really like, did you just look at, what was it? the Martian and go, we can do that and BS even harder.
Right.
But the Martian gets away with it because it's actual science.
Right.
This is kind of science, but it's like what Jeff Goldblum said, is like, you took what great men did and made it your own, and now you're selling. You're selling. And I'm paraphrasing that sentence, but you know what I mean. Yeah, this the whole thing is that they are genetically altering them, and again, this is the future, so we don't know how far genetic alteration is. But we come to find out that the guy they've been the guy who's been ahead of it, the head scientist of this, has just been BSing everybody.
Yeah, for the most. I mean, he had the general idea, and clearly it was working. He just got to a certain point where he I think where the real problem with this film is, and with the concept of what the Doctor was doing, was he only planned it out to this point. And I know that sometimes in life that's all you can do is plan so far, and shit happens and you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
But you still need to have some sort of end game. It's like, okay, we're terraforming a man's body to become an alien. Okay,
well, not terraforming, but like forced evolution.
Forced evolution. That's exactly what they use. They're turning him into as he called him, a Titan sapien. Is that what he called him, right?
Homo titanus.
Oh, that Homo titanus. Okay. So, a whole new species of human, right? Once he's a whole new species and he's become what he's supposed to be, really what's the freaking plan here? Because it's like, okay, he's going to lose his mind. He's going to forget who he is. How is he going to do any work up there? What is he like? There was no afterthought of what's going to happen.
Yeah, like even when they said he's going to forget what he is, he's like. Then I remember thinking to myself, then why send him? Why send him if he's not going to? Because he's just going to walk around like, what do I do now? And it's the same like.
And if it's just a mindless animal, mindless monster, whatever you want to call him, what purpose does it serve NASA or not NASA? NATO.
And that's the other thing. NATO would be because they say like, oh, NATO is fronting this and NASA's the advisor. I'm like, oh no, it would be the other way around.
Right.
Realistically, NASA, anything to do with space falls in NASA's jurisdiction. NATO can be the advisor, but NASA gets the final say because they're the ones who kind of know how space works.
Right. So yeah, I think the plan was great. So, the creature or he turns into, okay, he looked decent. Okay, the makeup effects were good. It was kind of cool seeing the transformation into him. It just the problem with the film is there's no concept of time in the film.
Yeah.
So we don't know if we're looking at a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of hours, a couple of months, a couple of years.
Yeah.
In my mind, this was something I would have to take at least a year. You know, it couldn't just
evolution
happen.
doesn't happen over even forced evolution. This would be like 5 years tops.
Probably more so. But I could even deal with it to go, look, we have a year to get him up there because it's going to take X amount of time to get him to the planet. And then once he's on the planet, he has to send back that information. And then we have to get everybody else to, evolve and get everyone else up there. So there would have to be a real quick timestamp. And there's just no concept. Like, after his first injection, there's a scene where he goes, spoiler alert, he goes underwater and he's there for like almost 45 minutes. I'm just like, after one shot, he's able to freaking hold his breath for 45 minutes? And even if so, I don't think the government or anyone would just be like, okay, let's just stay under, after the 10-minute mark, they're like, all right, come on, let's just make sure you're okay. You're not comatose.
Someone would pull, even they would check, they had this stuff to look at the vitals, but they'd still pull them up to be like, okay, test this, test that.
Yeah, exactly. Just because they would want to make sure that their monitors aren't lying to them, because they've never done this before. So, it happens so fast, and for no explanation, he's like the only one, and it could be because he believes in it so much.
Yeah, the power of belief is really helping.
Right.
The other thing is that, like you said, the only one who really survived, well, there's another one, but she gets wiped out.
And she herself wasn't even perfect, because remember what she does to her husband.
Yeah.
He was the only one still in tune with himself.
Yeah, and the other thing is that we have all these other candidates and they show up as side characters. You don't care about it.
Right.
That's the thing. You don't care about anyone in this film. Like, no one's emotionally attached because no one knows how to friggin' emote in this movie.
I think the wife was the only one I cared about, to be honest with you.
Not even then. She gets blood. She only wears three sets of clothes, And it's astonishing because half the time she's wearing one white shirt. And then when she changed to black, I was like...
But again, that's a part of the problem, that everything seemed that if it was taking a longer time to happen, but she's wearing the same clothes day in and day out, so maybe it was all in just a week.
And you forget they have a son. Like half the time.
She forgets she has a son sometimes. Yeah. So I mean, guys, this is, if you like science fiction movies, I want to say go see it, because do yourself a service. Watch it. Because the concept is there. Because who knows? You can take that concept in 10 years from now. You may write a better story.
And the other thing is that, and this was the part that made me go, done. And funny enough, it was the end of the movie. Was at the end of the film, she for some reason takes over the project for the Titan 2
or at least we think that's right, because it wasn't really explained.
Yeah. That's another thing. This movie doesn't explain jack. The main thing is that he's already up on Saturn. He's already up on Titan. Excuse me. Which, why isn't he running the Thanos yet? Right.
Right.
I mean, for those who aren't aware,
he is the Mad Titan, right? He is the new Mad Titan.
Yeah. I mean, for those who are not comic book awareness, Thanos from Avengers is actually, in the comics, he's born of Titan, from the moon Titan. So we kind of made a few Thanos jokes throughout the movie, but getting back to what I said is that it takes a long time to get, and you were saying, like, maybe it's the future they got. No, that's not how it works. Like, unless they have warp drive.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We don't know what they have. They don't explain. That's the part of the problem, is they just don't explain shit.
The other thing is, like, this is supposed to be 2048. Even if we did have future technology, space is it takes you a long time to get to anywhere.
Oh, I understand.
Like, it takes 2 weeks to get to the moon.
I understand that. I'm saying it doesn't explain anything, so therefore it takes you out of it.
Yeah, and the other thing is, like, it would take at least 80 years tops, to get you to like, it takes that how long to get a telescope up there, and I mean, like, a satellite and back.
Right.
So the fact, like, it would have been a lot more believable if it was like if we see his son as a mid 40s, and his wife is old and decrepit now, and she's looking up there, and he's up fine because I guess he's immortal now. I believe that, because science fiction, you can dabble a little stuff. But if you're going to have the audacity to say that your film is drenched in science, prove it. I'm sorry, I just get so, like, fired up, like...
Well, again, whenever anything is science fiction, I myself automatically just take all...
And there is such a thing as suspension of disbelief, but at the same time, like, if you're going to...
Well, again, I'm not giving the movie a pass. I'm just saying it does such a poor shit show of a job explaining everything to us. This is part of the problem. If they just said, look, we've figured out a way to get there in half the time.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks. All right, I don't need to know how you figured it out. I just need to know what's the thing.
And the other thing is that how they alter people was like with a living enzyme made from animal DNA.
Animal DNA, which made no sense.
Yeah, I was like, did you get that from Mr. Sinister?
Yeah, so like in the previews, I took it as maybe an alien had crashed on the planet before, and they were siphoning his DNA and altering us into a new species. That's how I thought.
That would have been a better plot!
I agree, but again, execution was where this movie fails. And the merits. The creature itself, the Titan that he turns into, looks pretty cool. I mean, the makeup is well done. He's able to move his mouth and everything. But another part of the problem is once they become this superior species, they no longer speak in language like us.
Yeah, it's like a higher tone that we can't pick up.
Exactly.
So it's like how elephants communicate.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. So, but also the problem, so once Sam Worthington, who is decent at best of an actor, is now in this prosthetic suit, which does kind of keep emotion away from his face because of how tight everything is now also told, okay, you're not going to be speaking anymore. So the acting goes way down on a lot of people's behalves because there's nothing to play off of, and there's nothing, he's really not giving anything. There's maybe a few moments where you kind of understand he's like, okay, he's feeling love, he's feeling loss maybe, but...
I can't tell.
There's, like, when they look up at her holding her son, when the two of them were kind of they have these little tentacles and they're playing with their tentacles, which kind of looked a little sexual.
Yeah.
Like his look up was like, oh shit, she caught us fooling around. You know, that's kind of how I took it. But you know, it was a detriment to have such a just subpar actor. And if you love him, if you like him, that's great. I'm not attacking him personally. If someone who's just okay at best and you take the ability to express himself out of the equation even more, it just really plateaus real quick. And again, there's just no follow through with the plan, and they don't give us explanation to just the littlest of things. But again, I would recommend, if you are a fan of science fiction, if you're a fan of alien movies, if you're a fan of creature features, you know, anything with a monster or a hybrid, you know, if you're a Cronenberg type fan, I mean, it's not as gross as Cronenberg.
I wouldn't go as far as like...
if you like prosthetics, shows like on Face Off on Sci-Fi, you may find some great things about this movie. Okay.
Yeah.
But as a coherent film, I mean, I'm going to give this, out of our normal star rating of 5, I'm going to probably give it a 1, maybe 1.5, because it's not the complete shit show, but it is just, it fails in the comparison. And I myself, I'm harder on films when it's like you have this great idea and you fail in the execution, or you don't live up to your expectation. Not necessarily your expectation, just your promise, your own ability. Okay, that's worse than just making a shit movie.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm right there with you. This is a 1.5 for me.
Yeah, but again, check it out. Let us know what you thought. If you watched it, if you loved it, if you hate it, tell us why. Yeah. If we're just missing the point, I mean, it could just be us. We could just be missing the point. If you figured it out, maybe explain it to us a little better, because it went over my head. Not necessarily over my head.
Well, you're very aerodynamic, Craig.
I didn't even feel like it went over my head, because it wasn't all like gaudy and science fiction-y or anything. It just was like blah. So, and maybe I just lost my interest enough to not pay attention. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even midway through the movie, you're like, is anyone else bored? I was like, I'm not bored, but I'm just not like...
Yeah, I remember, like,
you,
me, and...
my wife.
Yeah, your wife were all sitting on the couch, and just, like, I just, out of the blue, I was just like, anyone else bored?
Yeah, and I replied, I was like, no, I'm not bored, I just don't care more, so...
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, let us know, check it out. Let us know in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe on the video, and...
Once more, see you once again in the universe.